Do you get seasick, Matt?
No. I love the motion of the ocean. I do not.
It doesn't really bother me either.
Really?
Yeah. Every time I've been on one, like when it's been like pitching, I'm always like, when are people like going to get sick? When's it normal to get sick? And then it's like people will start vomiting. And, like, no, it just doesn't really bother me. I'm lucky.
We most of the charter boats now are catamarans. They're not as nice to sail, but they're really dope to live on. They're fucking big and really comfy, and they stay flatter and more stable, and so you're less likely to.
Why aren't they as nice to sail?
So this gets into some real sailing nerdery, but a monohull boat, a traditional sailboat, you can't sail directly into the wind, right? You can sail side wind, you can sail downwind with the wind, and you can sail really anything in between. But sort of the mark of a great boat is how close you can sail to the wind. And a monohull boat can probably sail about 15 degrees off the wind. So if you're trying to go upwind, you would zigzag and it would kind of look like this. Catamarans, because they have shorter keels, the fin underneath the boat. They have shorter keels, they're less effective, and so they can only sail about 30 degrees off the wind. So instead of doing this, you're doing this. So when you're going upwind, it takes you way longer to get there by sail. So
the two hulls don't serve as a keel, I guess. I would have thought
they have like short keels, but the one long keel of a monohull is more effective than the two short keels.
What's that thing Kevin Costner had in Waterworld? That's a
trimaran.
Yeah,
that's 3 hulls. Yeah,
that's badass.
They're fucking kind of cool, actually. You see some really, really wild designs, and there's some, the new like all computer designed yachts and stuff. If you look up some of the like mega yacht trimarans and stuff, there's some really, really bananas James Bond shit going on. Yeah,
that's cool.
And they're fast.
He had that like kite sail that he would launch out of the cannon.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he did have that. But have you seen like what the newest like America's Cup boats are? Have you looked at any of that kind of stuff? So if you were to Google like the current generation America's Cup boats, they're hydrofoils. So they rise out of the water like those foil boards, but they're sailboats, and the sails are not even cloth anymore. They're carbon fiber wings, like a vertical airplane wing, and they are fucking fast. I mean, they go like 40, 50 miles an hour.
It looks absurd. I'm looking at it. All right,
they're insane, right?
It looks like science fiction.
Yeah, that's a cup boat now. And it's just like in the fucking air. I mean,
it's not a boat.
Really, yeah. So
the only way I can believe, the only way I can believe this is if in my mind I'm like, it's about to come down, on the next thing. But
I mean, here's how you know it's hardcore. Those guys on that boat are wearing helmets.
That's what I was about to say. Not just helmets. They look like Power Rangers. What are they wearing?
Yeah. If you I really recommend watching some of the video coverage of the America's Cup, because these fucking things rip. They are so fast, and they fucking capsize. Like they're really kind of on the edge to sail, and they capsize and send people fucking flying. I mean, it's gotten very dangerous.
I bet that thing.
I had no idea how many people watched these events.
Yeah, full carbon.
What is that thing on the right? That wing.
So that's the hydrofoil. So you can see what you're looking at. The one on the right is it's adjustable, so it's actually lifted up right now to reduce the drag, and you can only see the horizontal one. The one on the left is lowered, and it's in the water, and so the whole boat is sitting on just the load of that.
I see it.
Port
the wind is coming from the right.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
It's super.
What are they
cranking
cranking down there when like they're bending down, just going like this? What are they doing?
The winches. So those are these guys. So those are connected to the winches that trim the sails. So they're just connected to ropes. So like on your average sailboat, the winch looks like a drum, and you'd crank it like this.
Yeah.
So by doing it this way, it's just a faster way to do it. Yeah, the winching.
You can tell this is like physically strenuous because there are no fat people on any of these boats in the races I'm watching. Like they're like fit. Like you know, when you're watching a bobsled team at the Olympics, you're like, oh, they just get in a bobsled and go. It's like, no, those guys are fucking yoked. They're shredded, like low body fat. They figured out the exact body you want to luge,
And they have like smaller versions of those types of boats. Like they have like what some really like there's like a boat called an International 14, and there's some smaller dinghy foil boats where it's like a 2-person boat and they're standing. You know, you have to use your body weight to counter the wind, and so they're on these things called trapezes, which where you're hanging down off the sails and you're standing on like scaffolding. And you're well the fuck off the hull of the boat. You're just like in the air. It's very, very wild. Sailing is very cool.
Like
it still doesn't look real.
Like Kevin Costner.
Remember when he was hanging? Yeah.
Well, I used to do this thing when I would race. I used to, when I was a kid, race on big boats. I was like a pretty big dude. So I was a winch guy on a crew of like not one of these crazy fucking boats, but like a faster, sailboat. And I would do this thing called Spinnaker Flying, which is the big balloony sail. When you go downwind, when you go upwind, you've just got the 2 sails. And then when you go downwind, they fly the big balloon sail in the front. And that's called the Spinnaker. And so the Spinnaker has a pole on one side and then a rope on the other side. And you use the pole to spread the sail out. Well, somebody gets to hang from the pole. And that was my favorite shit ever. And you would be up there and you would physically hold the sail open while hanging out, 20 feet in the air over the ocean. So if you Google a picture of Spinnaker Flying, you get a guy hanging up in the air. And that's one of the most fun things you can do. It's basically like parasailing, but you've got something to do.
Have you done any long sails?
I did an Atlantic crossing once.
Whoa.
Yeah, not by myself, but on a bigger boat with like 12, 13 people. It's weird. It's cool, but it's weird. It's like not seeing land for a long time is weird. And
long sail is just the traditional looking one. Like if I were to imagine a sailboat,
it was just a big. Yeah, it was
That's
big.
Spinnaker Flying.
No, that guy's like on vacation. That guy's like hanging there like a swing.
I think this is like recreational Spinnaker Fly because like when I was Googling, there was like places you can go to do this for fun.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah. No, if it was in like in a race, what would you call that?
That doesn't look stable. What that guy's doing?
Well, he's not. I don't think that person's going anywhere. I think that boat is on anchor and they're just hanging out there like a swing. Yeah,
it doesn't look like. I don't see why one side wouldn't dump the air out of it. I don't see is he carefully managing the 2? Is he very skilled? It looks like a tourist.
It might be. I've never actually seen someone do that, but I mean, what's the worst thing that happens? You fall in the ocean. I mean, who cares? Probably all right.
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, probably the worst can be swing.
What would be very weird about that
the worst thing that could happen?
Boat looks like it's faced downwind, and so a boat on anchor would be faced into the wind, which you do that off the other side of the boat. So that might be some kind of staging there. Not really sure, but yeah. Atlantic Crossing was on a 78-foot sailboat. It was a more traditional, mono hull, big sailboat. Yeah.
Were you like a crew member on that ship? Or?
Yeah. I had very little responsibility besides doing.
So where did you go in Europe? I guess Europe.
It was England to Long Island, basically.
Oh, you came home.
We went. Yeah, we went west.
Ah,
yeah.
Wow, cool. That's awesome. That's a really cool trip. Woody's always wanted to do that, and that might be the way to do it if you think about it. Is to fly there and sail back.
I can't remember what the reason. I think they go both. They go both ways. I'm not sure it matters, but you can do. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to sail. You could sail to Bermuda, or you could sail to whatever.
It's not hardcore enough.
Okay.
Well, Woody, didn't you want to do it alone, or am I making that up?
Oh, alone?
Woody wants to do it with as few people as possible.
Solo would be the coolest way to do it, but
you start to go fucking a little crazy, right? You get a little volleyball, a handprint on it, something.
Matt, tell me if I'm right about this. I'm pretty sure there are websites where people just seek out crew. And of course, the horn dogs fucking typically want like 21-year-old girls, but some people just actually want crew. They'd rather not be alone. And you can be like, all right, here
What's
I am.
the website?
Well,
ready to help.
I don't know the website, but I mean, there is Facebook pages and shit like that for like yacht crew for sure, where you can employ people. And I mean, I met people. We chartered a boat in Tahiti in the beginning of 2020, right before fucking lockdown. Oh, there you go. Crewseekers.net. There you go. We met some people in Tahiti that were like this senior citizen couple, and they work for the yacht charter company. And all they do, their whole life, is shuttle yachts all over the world where they're needed. So they were there in Tahiti, and they were on a boat that they had just sailed from the Caribbean. And it was like 35 days, at sea through the Panama Canal and out across the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, it seemed like a nice retirement. They had a lot of books. They had like 50 books. They had a bunch of extra drums of fuel because they were motor sailing. They weren't doing pure sailing.